Hi, good morning everyone. This is Liz Davis. I am a nutritionist and I specialise in digestive health for busy women. So I help busy women fix their painful digestion, IBS, bloating, heartburn, etc. I can also help you with hormone health and any other kind of associated health issue you have that you need support with, which can be connected to your digestive system, and those are a whole array of conditions as well, such as chronic fatigue and things like that. So I was going to actually do quite a thorough rundown today on all about sort of testing, the various tests you can get, what they help you with, how they differ from the tests you may get from the doctor and things like that. So it can help you make a decision about whether or not it's the right thing for you to do at this stage. So what does our testing involve then? Well, basically I use tests from private laboratories, so they're very different from the tests you get from the NHS, although there are a few markers that do tend to, we use the same markers sometimes. So with your NHS tests, they're typically looking for out and out pathology. They'll be looking for disease states, if you've got acute infections, that kind of thing. So we're kind of going then one step more detailed than that, and kind of going next layer, particularly with the gut tests that I offer. So basically then, a few scenarios that you may find gut testing useful for if you suspect you have a condition such as candida, so a yeast infection, for example. So depending on where you have the yeast infection in your body, it can be sometimes quite tricky to isolate. So for example, if you have oral thrush, that's not going to show up in a stool test necessarily. But if you've got candida in your gut, then a stool test is definitely what you need to have to find out if that's the case for you or not. Ditto, organic acid testing can be useful here as well, to tell you if you've got candida lurking about somewhere else in your body. So you can do kind of home tests for this to give you an idea, or kind of a bit of a clue about whether or not that's what you're dealing with. So for example, you can do questionnaires. There's plenty of good questionnaires online to fill in and find out if you could be looking at a candida situation. Very useful for organising your symptoms and your thoughts around this kind of thing. But again, it's not ever going to be 100% diagnostic for you, and tell you, for sure whether you have that or not. There are, spit tests, spit in a glass of water and see what your saliva does. That's supposed to be able to tell you if you've got candida or not. Anyway, highly inaccurate. So if you want a definite answer, it's got to be one of those two tests, really. So another example would be if you suspect you may have picked up a parasite on your travels or at home. These can be a really big driver of those kind of real IBS symptoms and other symptoms as well around your body. So if you think, if you've got those kind of IBS symptoms, you can't get to the bottom of it, I would definitely recommend doing a stool test. They're super thorough. They're like doing forensic tests of your gut. They use PCR technology, so they are looking for fragments of DNA from parasites. They're super accurate, and can give you a much more definitive answer. If you've tested for parasites in the past and it's come up negative, it could be that the technology's moved on since then, and these were a lot more accurate than they used to be. So it's another thing that could be worth looking at for you. The other scenario you may find it useful is if you're getting systemic symptoms, so symptoms that are not necessarily what you would immediately assume would be to do with your gut. So stuff like autoimmune disease, asthma, skin problems, fatigue, mood issues, anything like that can be tied back to your gut health. So in these kind of situations, if you're not getting anywhere with anything else, a gut test can always be really useful. So you could do stool tests here, you could do leaky gut tests. I tend to find the stool tests give us a really, a wealth of information. So that could be, just what you need to try and find out what the root cause of all your problems are. So as I say, gut testing, very kind of useful for ascertaining what can be going on, within your kind of gut health as a whole, and how that's impacting the rest of your health. Another scenario is whether you're dealing with SIBO or not. This crops up a lot. So we can sometimes tell if SIBO may be an issue for you with gut testing. There's also SIBO breath tests. You can sometimes get the breath tests on the NHS as well. But you can get them privately. They're not that expensive, actually. So between a breath test and a stool test, you can normally get a really good picture of what's going on for your, in your digestive system, and where this bacteria is that can be causing problems for you. So if you've got IBS kind of symptoms and you've tried various things, you've tried probiotics, perhaps the probiotics are making it worse, perhaps you just can't nail the symptoms at all, then it can be worth testing just to find out, exactly what you're dealing with. There are other reasons as well why it's useful to test, not just, obviously it's useful to find out what you're dealing with health-wise and what you may be, which infections you may have, etc. But it's also incredibly motivating if you actually know what you're dealing with and it's in black and white in front of you. It's a huge motivator, rather than just, guessing what may be wrong and kind of trying various supplements and whatever to try and nail symptoms. So that's one good reason to do it. Takes all the guesswork away. You can get highly targeted, supplements and dietary upgrades and things to help you. So you just get much quicker and more effective results. So it saves messing about and trying various things and trying various dietary changes which you may not actually need. So there's 4 good reasons there to carry out, gut testing. I've kind of been specific about gut testing here, but the hormone tests as well that we do are really, really very useful. Gives a lot of information. So if you're interested in any of those, then do book a call with me and we can talk through your options. Just use the link below to do that. There's also a link below to download free recipes and things. So if you fancy those, then do have a look. Okay, I shall see you next time. Bye.